And that's why I call her AR-15.
I give you scrap the very next day. You boom, boom, brrr, boom.
So, Senator, this idea of executive time, that hours of time could be carved out for the president so that he can do something, which, I mean, we knew he did. We knew that he was obsessing over television, and we know he does a lot of tweeting. But what does that tell you, that he's getting this time blocked
look, every
out?
president has time, downtime, or time that just for him to be able to, as was mentioned by Abby, I mean, talk to people. I know in talking to several members of Congress, he does stay in pretty frequent, more than I've ever heard of a president, in talking to members of Congress, developing relationships there. So to suggest that's all just TV time, I think, is probably overstating the case. Yeah, clearly the president watches television. I don't think there's any question about that. But
this is different. I mean, will you concede that this is different from other presidents?
No, I would suggest that most of the time presidents spend a lot of that time up in their residence doing that, more informal activities. The fact that he does it in the Oval, I don't think is a big deal.
Oh, apparently it's not in the Oval. Apparently it is in the residence and blocked out as if it's in the Oval.
Well, like I said, either way, I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay, Doug?
Yeah, look, we knew that Donald Trump was going to approach this presidency differently than Barack Obama or either George Bush or Bill Clinton. This is part of what we're seeing. It's what we see in how he tweets. It's what we see in how he consumes news and how he dominates and propels news cycles forward. I don't think this should be a surprise to anyone. And for Donald Trump's detractors, would you rather have him watching TV, or would you rather have him getting into policies that you don't like?
Angela Rye, what do you think?
Well, I think that this goes to what we all have been talking about all morning, and I think certainly since yesterday's Sunday programming, and that is the president's mental fitness. I remember bringing this same issue up on this very program. Brianna, you were not filling in that day, but talking about whether or not Trump was actually capable of serving as the president. And I still ask that same question. If we have to undergo character and fitness exams for being able to pass
But on
the
this
bar,
issue of executive time, you find that disqualifying?
I find it very disconcerting. I find it hard to understand that someone who is a working professional would need 3 hours in the morning to do whatever. If he needs downtime, here's how I suggest he use it. Put down the remote. Put down your phone and stay off of Twitter. Put down other things besides human beings. Put down everything that you're doing to make this office a disgrace. That's what he should do in downtime.
Yeah, this is the kind of, I think, disqualifying commentary that we see from the left, which is the president can't do anything right.
That's not disqualifying because you don't
I
like
think it is, because I think what
No,
you're basically
it's not.
saying is whatever the president does, it's wrong.
That's not what I said.
Because it fits into what he's been doing. The president has a right to have downtime to do whatever he wants to do.
3 hours during a workday?
And to criticize, of course. I mean,
Come on.
I don't know if you know, but the president's a pretty stressful office, and having some
I don't know
downtime
if-
to
I
be
don't
able
know if
to
you know it,
to
but
con-
you
to
don't- what you
either
should not
watch
do.
television or to confer with people is perfectly fine.
Former Senator
executive time
Santorum,
with
let me
nap
just,
time.
Yeah,
Doug, let me just, excuse me. Former Senator Santorum, let me give you also a recommendation. Speaking of down, what you should not do is talk down to another fellow commentator on the same network. So you don't have to agree with my commentary at all, but it certainly is not disqualifying because I disagree with you, and it certainly is disqualifying if there's any working professional that spends the first 3 hours of the workday spending time relaxing when they need to get abreast of foreign policy issues, domestic policy issues, making sure that they can manage their team instead of them wreaking havoc all over the country and certainly in the White House. I don't think that it's right for you to talk down to a fellow commentator because you don't like what I said.
I wasn't talking down to you. I was talking down to the comments that you made, number one.
Okay.
And number
Well,
two,
I disagree
what
with
I was
that.
saying is that having executive time, as was suggested, is not nap time. I mean, the president's allowed to have his own time to do things that he believes are important for his presidency, and I don't think we should be questioning it.
I want to ask you, Doug, about some of the tweets.
I give you scrap the very